What's up, y'all? So I've been getting a lot of comments about people wanting me to talk about some other issues as well, not just Ron Paul. Some of my interests and some of the things that I'm into. Me personally, I'm a big advocate for people themselves studying the law and looking into the laws that apparently govern your lives and stuff like that. And which brings me to a topic that I'm pretty sure most of you guys probably never even heard about. But growing up in the islands and understanding our history and how Hawaii became a part of the United States through it was basically through force. The United States came over, basically overthrew we had a monarchy back at that time. You know what I'm saying? But our queen was a peaceful queen. She was recognized from many different nations, including England and stuff. So we were established. We were an established country unto ourselves, and we were a neutral country. We accepted everybody from everywhere around the world, so long as you came to Hawaii and you didn't have the intention of being violent. Well, our shores were open to you. And the funny thing is, going back into Hawaii's history, America actually wasn't the first people here. The first European settlers, I guess, that came were actually Russians, man. So shouts out to Russia, man, for recognizing that we had our own culture, our own way of life, and just letting us live. Because Russia could have easily colonized Hawaii if they wanted to. They came down. They saying that we weren't primitive in the sense that we had tribes and we had communities, but we were a network of people throughout all the islands and stuff. And so Russia respected our sovereignty, and they we showed them love, they showed us love, and they dipped out when they were ready to go. So but growing up in the islands, man, you come across we have a lot of sovereignty groups out here who fight for Hawaiian sovereignty and stuff like that. And the way I see the Hawaiian sovereignty movement and the way they spin it in the media over here is they make the Hawaiian sovereignty cats look like they're racist because they're only promoting Hawaiian sovereignty. But the fact of the matter is they're looking at our history and the facts of our history and how we were basically overthrown. The United States forced our queen to sign a new constitution literally at gunpoint. You know what I'm saying? They call it the bayonet constitution. So if you never heard of that, it's an interesting read. I recommend you guys go look into it. There's a large portion of Hawaii that consider Hawaii a fake state. But a lot of people don't really come around to it because it seems like such an extreme idea. But in that sovereignty movement, because I knew some cats who dabbled with it. You know what I'm saying? They put me up on game about the subversion in the courts, actually. And this is something that's taking place in pretty much every municipal court, every big-time court in America. And it's the subversion of constitutionality through Maritime Admiralty. And if you guys haven't ever heard of Maritime Admiralty, man, you're missing out on a big key portion of the overall picture and how we got to where we're at. Because Maritime Admiralty is actually the law of the sea, and the Constitution is supposed to, secure our rights to a common law country, like our rights and stuff like that are protected under common law. And if you ask any cop or any judge, they're going to tell you that common law no longer exists. But the fact of the matter is, today's legal system is based off of common law, but they subverted the constitutionality with Maritime Admiralty, replacing common law with civil law. So I would recommend you guys look into that. It's a good, interesting topic, and that's in accordance with the TV show that I think they ran on 60 Minutes about the sovereignty movement and how they're violent extremists and they're cop killers and this and that. Like that's far from the truth. And if there's any cops watching, man, I just want you guys to know it ain't like that, man. It's totally not even a violent movement. It's just people standing on their rights and studying history and they're tired of getting what they're getting, and the solution to it all is found in the law. It's crazy because they don't teach us the law in school. They don't teach us about I mean, you touch on it briefly with the Constitution, but they never go into like an in-depth discussion about it. They just say, oh yeah, you have rights because of the Constitution, and the fact of the matter is you don't have rights because of the Constitution. It's just those rights were secured and they were guaranteed to be protected through our Constitution. We had those rights before the Constitution. But yeah, interesting story about Maritime Admiralty versus Constitutionality. December 3rd, 2010, I got pulled over I was driving my girlfriend's car, and she had an expired registration. And when I got pulled over, I didn't have my driver's license on me at the time. And the cop comes up, and he was like, license and registration. And the thing that people don't know is, before a cop can ask you for anything, he first has to provide his credentials, you know what I'm saying? Just to prove that he's actually a peace officer and not just somebody impersonating the peace officer, you know what I'm saying? So when I told him, you know what I'm saying, I want your credentials first, you know, I want your name, I want your badge number and stuff like that, he kind of took offense to that. But I mean, it's in the law, so you know you're protected, and you have every right to ask them for that information. And you can record them as well. As you can see, like Luke Wadowski, he's pretty much blowing that issue wide open. You know, he started a movement across the world. You look at the Love Police in London, in the UK, man. So, you know, even the Free Man on the Land Society up in Canada too. Those are some very interesting cats. And the founder of the Free Man on the Land Society is a cat named Robert Menard. Man, very knowledgeable guy, and he breaks it down in such a common sense way. Funny guy, makes jokes about it, but he's very serious about his business, man, and he's very, very correct, because he's the one who actually put it through his videos. He broke it down to the fact that, yeah, you know, like such as the driver's license, like where I was going with my story. Everybody's under the impression that in order to be on the roads, you have to have a driver's license. And he broke it down to the fact that, well, has anybody even read that law? And majority of the people has never read the law. Or should I say statute? That's the thing. Nobody's ever read the statute. But it's just, you know, well, everybody knows that, you know, and that's how we get trapped, and that's how we get incrementally moved along. Without, you know, Jesus Christ said, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's basically the moral of the story. You know, if you look at the issue, I mean, the driver's license issue, through the Constitution and your right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you have an unalienable right to travel. You know, and if you want to understand why you don't need a driver's license to operate a motor vehicle on the road, you have to first look at the legal definition of drive, you know, and since they've since reinterpreted it through the states and stuff like that, but I mean, it all comes back to understanding that the legal definition of driving, based off of Black's Law 6th edition, states that to drive means to transport corporate profit or corporate gain, meaning that you're getting compensated for being behind the wheel. Anything outside of compensation and the commerce realm, you have an unalienable right to move about the earth any way you see fit, you know, without having to ask the government for permission. And when I heard that, it sounded kind of crazy, but it was something that was so understandable, really. You know, like, the government can't regulate movement, and if you look at how they do it, they regulate it through the Commerce Clause, because anything that you do on the roads, you know what I'm saying, you can get a ticket for not hitting anybody, not damaging any property, and you can get charged. Like, everything has to do with, like, charging a fee for something, some kind of infraction or whatever, you know. And that's not initially how it was set up. I mean, understanding that driving is a commercial act to begin with, and anything outside of the realm of commerce, you're just exercising your liberty. That's actually one of the key ways that the state generates revenue off of the people. You know, it's like leeches. You know, they know this and they understand this, but they don't want you to know that, because once we know that, a large portion of their money gets sucked out, and they're not going to have the funding for the police state that they're preparing, you know.